morning, guys. I am really sick here today. My throat is killing me, so no beer, no Red Bull. I know, I guarantee you guys can't believe it, but I'm feeling like absolute dog crap here today. But I got some new parts in, and I really just can't wait. My throat hurts so bad just talking right now, but there's some things I want to go over with you right quick. So first off, guys, I got in a bunch of line and fittings from Vibrant. I got new lights from Oxbeam for my cousin's truck, and then I also sent a set over to Steven Rothenberg. He's gonna be installing a set into his, I think his is a 95 or 94 Supra. I'm gonna do a little bit something different with his, so I'm gonna be doing some install stuff with that. But today too, I wanna show you guys how to properly install an AN fitting and how to go about it, especially someone at your house and you don't have every tool in the world. I'm gonna show you how I've done it, and I've done this multiple times, and it's been leak-free, worry-free for me. I've used this for drain lines, I've used this for my catch cans, and I've never had an issue. Sorry guys, man, my throat is just killing me today. I'm gonna muscle through this and try to show you as much as I can. So what we got here is 2 straight -10 fittings, and then we have 2 90-degree, and then I bought 10 foot of Vibrant line, and then this is some Red Horse line. Red Horse has been great, but I'm just gonna try Vibrant this time. XRP is probably the best of the best. That's who Jose at Kazan Motorsports always uses, but I'm just gonna use Vibrant. It's not gonna really affect or harm anything. I think they're really quality stuff. The only reason I didn't go with Red Horse, the guy I usually used, I couldn't get a hold of him. I messaged him multiple times and was never able to hear back from him. So, you know, hey, I tried. So I went on Vibrant this time, and this should work just fine. Now for this, guys, we're gonna use some AN fittings, or not fittings, I guess, we're AN wrenches here. I have these little, these are actually like polycarbonate, or whatever the hell they're called. They're almost like a plasticky material. They're very hard, but they're not aluminum, so it won't scratch the nice aluminum fittings. And then I have one adjustable AN wrench, and then we'll be using one, let's see if I can get down here, one solid AN wrench, both -10, to get these on. So first off here, guys, what we're gonna do is open up this 90-degree fitting here. These are actually really nicely packaged. I think you actually have to cut them first, don't you? Or maybe not. No. Hold on. No, they're literally like vacuum packed. It's nice, but one thing I noticed right off the bat with the AN fittings, I really like the finish on them. It's a black, but it's almost like a matte black, not a gloss black. It almost has like a brushed look to it. I really like the way these look. All you gotta do next is we're gonna go ahead and spin this off. Ta-da, just like that. And what you're gonna do next is grab your hose, and we're gonna shove it in here. What I'm gonna do for that is show you real quick. So we have our -10 hose here. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this little rubber end. But this looks to be chewed up a little bit. If you guys can see that there, looks rough, and it's almost like sticky. Not sure what that is. But we have the other end here, which is not as bad. Now, what some people do is they actually take a flat head to force these down in, and then you gotta spin this on by hand. And once you get to that point, I'll show you what to do for this. But all you're gonna do for this is just try to get as much as you can, those fibers, because they do tend to flare out. I do like that. Let's see if we can get it on here in one try. Oh, there you go. It's actually spinning on quite easy. Wow, these are way easier than my Red Horse. Don't, no offense to anyone using them, but good Lord, these are way easier to get on. Now that I've got that twisted on there, if you guys can see, I went ahead and put the jaws here. Again, tighten this down to my little vise here, nothing special. So that's in there tight. What I'm going to do next is you can either do one of two things. You can do it dry, or you can use grease. So I can go ahead and shove this down and start spinning it on. Or what some people recommend is grease. I'm actually gonna try this for the first time. Just put every little bit of grease on the threads to help spin this down a little bit easier. See how this works. So I went ahead and started threading this on here, guys. One thing I wanted to point out too is if you can see here, I added blue painter's tape down here at the bottom. If you can see right there, the reason for doing this is when you're pushing down this hose, it can sometimes push it out of those original threads. When you first originally twist it on, it can actually push it out. So you put this here as a signal or as a sign saying, okay, as I'm twisting this back on, everything's okay. If you see that tape line moving, you need to undo it, do the reverse, pull it back out, push the hose back in, and then do it again. Add more grease to it, as I've had an issue with my one friend, Zach Klopper, had this with his fuel lines, and he ended up having a bad fuel leak. Don't want that happening. With this, it's not as critical, but you just don't want to take any chances. It's a nice safety precaution to do it this way. Now to tighten these down, guys, I'm going to be very careful. I'm just going to take my time and slowly go with it. So I'm finished up here. I went ahead and got the fitting on. If you can see, my tape line did not move. This is nice and flush now. I might move it slightly over just a little bit more so this lines up flat. But hey, that worked out really easily. I'm really impressed how easily that went on compared to my Red Horse fittings. It's most likely the grease more than anything, but very easily went on. Now what I'm gonna do is actually test it up here. I don't have my catch can yet, but pretty much putting these on so I can do it really fast when it gets here and I can start the car and get moving again.
All right, guys, I went ahead and test fitted the line here, if you can see. Went ahead and threw it on real quick just to see how it was gonna look. I put all this blue painter's tape up. Let's see if I can push it up a little bit more. I put the blue painter's tape up there just to be safe. I don't wanna mess up anything. If you can tell, I changed clothes again because I got really sick that was Saturday morning, now it's Monday afternoon. I got stupid sick from all that. I'm getting better now, but yeah, so I went ahead and test fitted that. Looks good. My new lip will be here soon. It should be here Thursday or Friday. I'm pretty excited about that. The body shop, Travis Beaver, who owns the body shop who did the work, is going to swing by then, take a look at the car and see what he would do to the car in the future, what I should do to start prepping the car, what I should do, like what I should buy, etc. So that'll be something else to talk with you guys about too. One other thing I had to do, guys, I had to move the Acura back in the garage now because, well, it's been getting colder and I am such a little bitch when it comes to cold weather. So I had to move the Acura back in here, I had to move the Supra up, and I pushed the MR2 over to this side, just makes it a little bit easier. One thing I was going to mention to you guys real quick, my one buddy is actually trying to convince me to put an up pipe on the Supra, and I have no desire. Like, I really like the way the car looks and sounds right now. Now, I'd like to get a new exhaust, do a new turbo manifold and a new turbo, sell everything that's on it, and go to a different setup. I want something that's a little bit easier to work on, a little bit tighter and nicer. Actually, I'll go up here and show you guys. Don't get me wrong, the car works well and everything's nice, but it's not perfect. So the manifold I want to change a little bit, put dual gates on it, move that turbo up just slightly further, get it away from the shock tower. Although for a 66mm turbo, Borg Warner turbos are notorious for being way too freaking big. You could fit a pretty massive turbo on this manifold. It's just why Borg Warner makes their housing so big, I have no idea. It's just kind of like their thing. I'll never understand it, but whatever. It's kind of like tile blow-off valves. They're freaking huge. Everyone else's are small. Why tiles are so big, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'd like to change the setup, go to a full 4-inch exhaust, back into either a stainless steel or a titanium ETS exhaust. After seeing Ryan Summit's setup, I really like the way it sounds and looks. Also, if you can see my wife in the background here, she's super happy right now, staining stuff, getting stuff ready to be sold. That's why she's not even talking, because she's all frustrated and not happy right now. So yeah, that's what I plan on getting with the car here shortly. I hope to get it done soon. Also, wheels and tires. So I keep going back and forth in this. I know I've talked about this multiple times. I'm just having a really hard time finding something that has a proper 5-spoke, that doesn't have a crazy stepped lip. Like, I've looked at the CCW LM5, cool looking wheel, but the lip on it is just so big, it makes the center of the wheel look so tiny. It looks off to me, and I don't really like it. I do like the Ray's, I think it's called Ray's Graham Lights CR57, which I really wanted for the MR2, but they don't offer anything. And unfortunately, they don't offer aggressive enough for the Supra either. Like, I need like an 11 and a half or 11-inch wheel in the rear, and they don't offer anything. Kind of sucks. Like, both cars, I'm having a really hard time finding a certain wheel I like that's not crazy. I also prefer wheels that are one-piece, and the reason I say that I prefer one-piece wheels because I don't like this, either one, showing the rivets, or the fact that they cover up the brakes so much, especially on an 18-inch wheel. Since you got to step it up almost on the sides or whatever, it covers up the brake more. It's harder to reach back behind there and clean. I know that sounds stupid, but I just don't like dealing with all that. So this is what my wife's doing right now. Babe, what is this, stain, right? Or
stain and polyurethane.
Stain and polyurethane. She painted this table here. She's all happy with herself. It's funny, we sold the table, I should say, she sold the table. Table happened to sell to my one friend, Grady Earhart, who happened to work for me when I worked at Volvo. And she just realized it the other night. She's like, don't we know these people? She shows me the picture. And I'm like, shit, that's Grady's girlfriend. I just found it kind of funny. So now Grady has to drag his ass down here, which I know he loves, and come see me. He just really wants to come down and drink ice cold Keystone with me. It just gives him a cheap excuse. So yeah, that's what my wife's doing right now. My ass is going to finish installing the rest of these lines here tonight. I am going to organize some of the tools because my toolbox has become a bit of a mess over the last couple of months. Even from the past winter, I just haven't really messed with it. Black Friday's coming up, so it's tool hunting season for me. I usually go out and spend, which isn't a lot of money when it comes to tools, but I'll go hit up Harbor Freight, Lowe's, all those places, since I'm just a home guy. I don't really need Snap-on tools. And it's probably spend $500 to $1,000 and buy whatever's new, some new power tools. I want a true 1/2-inch powerful impact. that's cordless. Right now I have a corded half-inch impact that does well taking off the wheels. It struggles actually a little bit with that. It's not very powerful. I think it's like 110 or maybe 120 foot-pounds. That's what it says. I doubt it's even that, to be honest, because I use it to put on and then take off the wheels each time, and I have never had an issue with it. I really think it's not that powerful at all. But there are some tools that I saw that I really want. Harbor Freight actually has a bunch of cool stuff that I really like. It's cheap, effective. I know people bitch about it and say it's Chinese made. Well, pretty much everything you buy nowadays is Chinese made, so it is what it is. All right, guys, thank you very much as usual. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope the whole AN fitting thing helped you guys out if you've never done it before. It's very straightforward, very simple. I'm really, really happy with using AN fittings. I like putting them on. I think they look really clean and look really cool. Let me know if there's any new type of fittings out there, if there's any new type of way of doing this. I'm always looking for the next big trend or for the next big thing that's going on. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys are using, if there's anything else that's new out there. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace!